Do you ever notice how the days leading up to your birthday feel weird? Not bad, exactly, but heavy. Like something invisible is sitting on your chest. People around you are cheerful, asking what your plans are, telling you it's your day, and yet inside, your mood is quietly sliding downhill. You wake up on your birthday and instead of excitement, there's this dull sadness, irritability, or emptiness. And the worst part? You feel guilty for feeling that way. Because birthdays are supposed to be happy, so why do you feel like this? If that sounds familiar, you're not broken, ungrateful, or dramatic. You're experiencing what psychologists casually call the birthday blues, and it's way more common and way more interesting than people realize. Let me paint a picture. Imagine your brain as a personal documentary filmmaker. Most days, it's busy filming random scenes, work, stress, laughter, scrolling, survival. But birthdays are like an annual documentary premiere. Your brain pulls out the highlight reel, it pauses your normal life and says, okay, let's review. Who are you now? Where are you in life? What did you expect by this age? What didn't happen? What changed? What didn't? And suddenly, a day that's meant to celebrate your existence turns into a psychological audit. We grow up learning that birthdays are milestones. As kids, they're exciting because they mean cake, gifts, attention, and the magical feeling of becoming bigger. Another year feels like progress. But somewhere along the line, birthdays stop being about what you're gaining and start being about what you're losing, or at least what you haven't gained yet. Time, options, youth, certainty, a sense of being on track. Your brain doesn't experience birthdays as just dates on a calendar. It experiences them as symbols of time passing, of identity, of expectations colliding with reality. Psychologists have found that humans are incredibly sensitive to what are called temporal landmarks, specific moments in time that divide our lives into chapters. Birthdays are one of the strongest ones. They create a mental before and after. Before I turned this age, I thought I'd be here. After this age, I should be there. And when your real life doesn't neatly match the story you imagined, the emotional gap can feel uncomfortable, even painful. That's where the blues creep in. What makes birthday blues particularly confusing is that they often show up in people who are reflective, thoughtful, and emotionally aware. If you're someone who thinks deeply about your life, your choices, your meaning, your future, your brain is more likely to use birthdays as checkpoints. This isn't weakness, it's introspection without a filter. Think about it. On a random Tuesday in March, you're too busy surviving to ask big existential questions. But on your birthday, society literally hands you a microphone and says, tell us how you feel about your life. Even if no one says it out loud, the pressure is there. Did you become who you thought you would? Are you happy? Are you fulfilled? Are you behind? And comparison makes it worse. Birthdays amplify social comparison like nothing else. You scroll through messages, posts, or stories, you see people celebrating with big parties, fancy dinners, surprise trips, smiling faces, and your brain does what brains do best. It compares the visible highlight reel of others to the invisible complexity of your own inner life. Suddenly, your quiet celebration or low energy feels like a failure instead of just a mood. There's also something deeply psychological about being the center of attention. People assume everyone enjoys it, but many don't. For some, being celebrated feels like being put under a spotlight. You're seen, you're evaluated, you're perceived, and if you already struggle with self-criticism, that attention can feel uncomfortable rather than joyful. Another layer people rarely talk about is grief. Not just grief for people you've lost, but grief for versions of yourself that no longer exist. Birthdays have a way of reminding you of who you used to be. The dreams you once held, the energy you once had, the innocence you once carried. Even positive growth comes with loss, and birthdays quietly bring that to the surface. Neuroscience also plays a role here. As we get older, novelty decreases. Your brain releases less dopamine, the new and exciting chemical around birthdays compared to childhood. When you're 5, a birthday is unpredictable magic. When you're 25 or 35, your brain already knows what's coming. Cake, messages, maybe dinner. The emotional spike is smaller, but the reflection is bigger. And then there's expectation. Expectation is one of the biggest sources of emotional pain humans experience. We build birthdays up in our minds. This day should feel special. I should feel loved. I should feel proud. I should feel happy. And when your internal experience doesn't match that script, your brain interprets it as something being wrong. Not with the day, but with you. Here's the quiet truth. Birthdays don't cause sadness. They reveal it. They bring existing emotions to the surface because they slow time down just enough for you to notice what's already there. Dissatisfaction, uncertainty, longing, even loneliness. The blues aren't random, they're information. Interestingly, research on mood and aging shows that people often feel a dip around birthdays, followed by a rebound afterward. It's like your mind needs to pass through the checkpoint before returning to normal life. The sadness isn't permanent, it's transitional. And there's something deeply human about that. In many cultures throughout history, birthdays weren't even celebrated the way they are now. Some societies marked age with rituals of reflection, responsibility, or gratitude rather than happiness. Modern culture tells us birthdays should be fun, loud, and joyful, but your psyche might be craving something quieter, meaning instead of noise, honesty instead of performance. If you get birthday blues, it doesn't mean you hate your life. It often means you care about it. It means you're aware that time is moving, that your life is finite, that your choices matter, that you're evolving. And those realizations are heavy even when they're healthy. The problem isn't the sadness, it's the judgment we place on it. We tell ourselves, I shouldn't feel this way. But emotions don't respond well to shoulds. When you resist them, they tend to get louder. When you allow them, they often soften. Think of your birthday as a mirror, not a verdict. It shows you where you are, not whether you're winning or losing. You don't have to force happiness on a day that's emotionally complex. You're allowed to feel mixed emotions. You're allowed to feel nothing. You're allowed to feel sad and grateful at the same time. Some people with birthday blues are also highly future-oriented. Their minds are constantly projecting forward, asking, what's next? Birthdays interrupt that forward motion and pull you into the present, and the present can feel uncomfortable when it doesn't match the imagined future you've been rehearsing in your head. But here's the reframe that changes everything. The discomfort you feel on your birthday is often your mind recalibrating. It's adjusting your internal map of who you are and where you're going. That's not failure, that's growth. Your brain is updating the software. Instead of asking, why am I sad on my birthday? A gentler question might be, what is this feeling trying to tell me? Not in a dramatic way, in a curious way. Are you tired? Are you craving connection? Are you mourning something? Are you proud of yourself but not used to acknowledging it? Birthdays can be invitations rather than tests. Invitations to check in, to realign, to let go of outdated expectations, to choose what matters now, not what mattered 5 years ago. And maybe the most important thing to remember is this: you don't owe your birthday a performance. You don't owe anyone joy. You don't owe the calendar a smile. Your existence doesn't need to be justified with happiness. Sometimes the most honest way to honor another year of being alive is to sit quietly with yourself and say, this is where I am. No filters, no comparison, no pressure. And if this video feels like it's speaking directly to you, you're not alone. So many people experience this in silence, assuming everyone else is celebrating effortlessly. They're not. They're just better at hiding the complicated parts. If you've ever had birthday blues, I'd love to hear how it shows up for you. Not because it needs fixing, but because it deserves understanding. And if you want to keep exploring the psychology behind everyday emotions we rarely talk about, you know what to do. Stay curious, stay gentle with yourself, and remember, another year isn't a deadline. It's just another chapter.